Let's look at the final storage class, which is static. Static has several interesting functionalities which we are going to look at. But first, let us look at where it is stored. Static variables are stored in your RAM. The default initial value is 0, 3. The scope, it's the same as automatic and register, that is local to the function. And 4, the life of the static variable. Here is where it gets interesting. So the value of a static variable persists between different function calls. So basically what happens is, if you have a static variable, it is only executed once. That is, let's say you have static int I equals to 1. This statement is executed only once during your entire program. Afterwards, it doesn't execute at all. To understand more about static variables, let us take two programs. Main, I make a call to the increment function. So that's call 1, call 2, and call 3. My increment function behaves as follows. So I have the automatic variable auto int I equals to 1, and then I say printf percentile d comma I, and I say I equals I plus 1. So that's the end of my increment function. Let's see how this program behaves. I start execution from main. I make a call to the increment function. Control goes to increment. Auto int I, so I is 1. Print the value of I, which is 1, and then increment the value of I. So I becomes 2. Remember, here I is declared as an automatic variable. So I is local to increment, and as soon as increment function is done, the value of I is killed. Next, we go back to main, make the second call, go here, again I equals to 1, display the value of I, and then increment the value of I. Once the increment function is done, I is killed. Again, go back to main, make the third call, go to the increment function, I is 1, display 1, and then increment I by 1. Again, after increment is done, I is killed. So the output of this program is the output of the printf, which is 1, 1, and 1. Now let's take the same program, but instead I'm going to make I as static variable. Static is another keyword. Let me write the program. Okay, same program with the difference that here it's auto and here it's static. So let's see how this runs. Start execution from main, make a call to increment, go to increment, and here you say I equals to 1. So it's a static variable. So remember, a static variable or the static is executed only once in your program. So if you executed this once, it's no longer going to get executed. Then you have printf I, so I is 1. Modify the value of I, so I is 2. Now if you look at the life of a static variable, its value persists between different function calls. So I is not killed just yet. So your output of this program is 1, or basically the output of the first function call is 1. Now you make a second function call, control goes here. Now during the second call, you do not execute the static keyword, or you do not execute this line at all. Print the value of I. Remember, I was incremented to 2, so 2 is printed. So print 2. Modify the value of I, so I is now 3. Go back to the main function, make the third call, go to the function, do not execute the static, display the value of I is now 3, so display 3, and modify the value of I. Now main has run out of code, so that is when you basically terminate the program, and that is when I is killed. So this is the difference between automatic and static.